We can go ahead and get started with some opening comments from the coach, and then we'll take questions.
Thanks, Brian. Obviously, I thought we shared the ball exceptionally well. Proud of the guys of how they moved it. I mean, you had 24 assists on 32 field goals. You don't do that without being unselfish. Thought defensively, especially the chunk of that second half, we got too discombobulated and too confused at times and didn't do a good job. So we got out of character during that stretch. And that's credit to Green Bay. I mean, they try to speed you up and play fast and get as many possessions as possible. But like I said, to have 6 guys again in double figures shows the unselfishness and balance within this group. And obviously, we shot it really well. We'll learn a lot of things, both good and bad, that we got to get better at. Things that we did really well. But offensively, I thought we really did a lot of good things for the most part. We got stretches in the first half. We got a little too one-on-one minded, and it showed with our efficiency dropped during that time. But all in all, like I said, knew it was going to be this type of game, that they were going to really up the number of possessions and keep the pressure on and keep coming at us. And credit to Green Bay being down 20-some. And just like the game at Purdue, they kept coming back. And like I said, proud of our guys to find ways to finish it out. Questions?
Jim?
Did any part of you wonder how this team would react after the Potter decision came down as a kind of a final thing today?
No, because we hadn't played with Micah yet, so it's not like something has changed. We had a game to play, and that focus on the guys that are in that position to be able to compete.
Yeah, Greg, I know you addressed this ad nauseum, and I know you addressed it on your pregame radio show, but can you at least summarize a little bit of your frustration, but also at least can you move on now knowing that when the end date is for certain?
Well, I mean, frustrated, it's gone, the level of frustration has gone beyond anything I've ever experienced in almost 30 years of coaching. And really, to look back over 30 years, the reason why I got into this profession was to try to help young people and make their experiences and their lives better. Unfortunately, during this scenario, as this has played out since June, we haven't done a good job as membership and as the organization that kind of heads that membership in the NCAA of making a student athlete's experience better. Micah now will have sat, by the time he plays in mid-December, 47 games. 35 last year at Ohio State that he did not participate in. 12 here if you count our 2 preseason Iowa State scrimmage and lacrosse exhibition game. It's 21 months and 3 semesters. You find somewhere else that has happened. This is unprecedented. And I have a hard time thinking that we stand up here and, like I said, we did all we could do from an institution standpoint. Katie Smith, Coach Alvarez, our administration, our compliance did everything we could do. Micah did everything he could do. But to have this type of, and I'm going to go through the details of the play-by-play of the whole thing, but aren't we as a membership in the business of the human business, as I'll take one of the NCAA's terms, of trying to make the experiences of the student athletes better? This is doing and the problem is, with all my frustration and everybody's frustration, and everybody's work that was put into this, that is irrelevant. The one that gets penalized in this the most is Micah Potter, and that's completely unfair. To be able to have to sit this much and to do the things he did it the right way. He stayed at Ohio State to try to stay on track to graduate. He wanted to stay because his brother Noah was coming on the football team, and he didn't want to make life rough for him coming in as a freshman when he was going to be there in January last year. But he found out it wasn't going to work, so he had to make a change. Really what he didn't want to do. And he did things the right way. And that's what's so frustrating in all the things that go on in the NCAA today and across college athletics. See so many negative things. Micah Potter's a quintessential student athlete. He's exactly what the NCAA should want representing them as student athletes. Instead of using that as a positive message to the rest of the student athletes, you took one of your best student athletes in the country and penalized him further. than what everybody else. He's got teammates that played games last year that's playing now at another institution. We played against a guy that played all last year. Like I said, it makes, I was hoping common sense would prevail in this. Unfortunately, it didn't. And again, I just don't understand when we're in the business of trying to make these student athletes' experiences better. His clock is ticking. The rest of us will go on. And the people that are in those positions, in that committee, the NCAA staff, they obviously don't have their boots on the ground and understand the impact that this has on a young man and on his life and on his future. Like I said, credit to Micah, because he's been the one that I was so irate this afternoon and Micah was the one that took the news better than anybody, better than me, than our administration, our compliance. I just feel it was such an injustice, and I thought everything was done the right way. But like I said, it's unfortunate. It's really a shame. It's a shame that, and regardless if he makes us a better team, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this kid's experience that's been yanked away from him, and he's getting over penalized than any other transfer.
You said earlier in the process that you guys were given a rationale and that you disagreed with it. Can you share what that was specifically now?
They've stuck to their complete thing from the beginning, that there wasn't mitigating circumstances. I don't know, when you're told that you need to distance yourself from the program, that's not mitigating. I mean, there's a lot of ways that coaches not send messages that you're not wanted here anymore, or in a program. Said, and he was a kid that grew up in Ohio, and it was just, in Ohio State, that's the other thing. Ohio State supported it, the Big Ten supported it, obviously we had the support behind it. You got everybody, nobody resisting this, nobody resisting this on the outside. Next question.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Coach, any words?
Yeah.
How's Brad doing? We banged up. Any words about him?
He was, he made me put him back in. That shows you the toughness of that cat. No, he's fine, and he'll work with our trainer, and knowing he'll be ready to go. But showed some grit, wanting to come back in there when, unless I got doctor's orders that I couldn't play him. He put himself back in the game. Anything else about the game? You guys got all your questions answered on the Micah Potter thing? Anything else I can clarify or make my feelings, if I've been ambiguous with any of my thoughts? Said, unfortunately, the one that gets the short end of the stick here is Micah, and that's what I feel really bad for, because he's as good as a kid in person and a student as you could ever want, and it's a shame. But he's got great teammates around him that'll rally. They already have. They have been. Great support. And he's going to be ready when the time comes. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.